So let me quickly see what I can do. Have a discussion one. Discussion one. Kate, how have you been? Can you hear me at all? Can you see the screen, please? Mm-hmm. Kate, can you hear me? Kate, can you hear me? Hello? Mm. Kate, can you hear me? Ah, why?
I don't know what's happening. Hello.
Can you hear me around?
I can hear you, but can you hear me?
Okay. Microphone has a
Hello.
problem. Yes, I can hear. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's crack on then. Once you can hear me, that's the most important thing. So today we are looking at two forms of assignment. We're looking to we've done assignment, we've done um 4 models, 4 solid models. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, but there are two assignments to what do you call it? The models. So one is what do we call assignment discussion 1, and one is assignment discussion 2. Okay. Higher diploma in business. So let's look. Since you can't hear me, it'll be fine. Let's look at we know the introduction now when it comes to the assignment discussion. We know what we've discussed so far. Okay. So let's look at, to start with, our submissions. Most of our submissions should be in a Word format. I'm sure you are aware. Okay. And we expect that at least your font size should be the number 12. Okay, nothing less than 12. It should be nothing less than 12. It should be 12. Yes. If you want it bigger, then you can do 13 or 14. Okay. And where you can put some headings, paragraphs, subsetting that's appropriate. You can look into subheadings. Okay. You must make sure that you are referencing any information that you decide to add to your assignment submission. It ought to be referenced, and in the reference list. And also, our acceptable type of reference, is the Harvard reference system. Okay. The Harvard reference system. Very important. Where it's necessary, you have to provide bibliography using the Harvard reference system. You are required to produce approximately 1,800 to 2,000 word report, which will explain the HR strategies and the theoretical perspective of HRM in different organizations. Although you will not be penalized for exceeding the total word. So the most important thing is one, the font size, which is 12, and then the word report, which is between 1,800 to 2,000. Okay, referencing, very important, should be the Harvard kind of reference. Okay, as a level 5 student, it's expected to appropriate academic sources such as drawn upon. After all this, while you understand a higher education program of study, Wikipedia and Google are quick sources of information, but not credible sources of academic literature. The rule of thumb here is that the website has no author. Then do not cite unauthenticated web articles. The same apply to the use of A-level textbooks, okay? Of course, articles can be downloaded from the web and are perfectly acceptable source of information. For instance, Home Office statistics and information from government bodies alongside academic papers downloaded from Google Scholar can be used. In this instance, website reference should insert the author and date. The full reference appears at the end of the document. Get into habit now. So all we're talking about, even if you are trying to get informations from Wikipedia and all that, try to cite. You need to find out the writer of those stuffs, and then you have to make sure you are reference to them. Okay, very, very important. Okay, Martin's question. Okay, Kate, can you hear me now? Are we together? Plagiarism. Plagiarism. We all know plagiarism. Students must submit a complete work at their own. Plagiarism is presenting the thoughts, ideas, and words of another person as if they were their own. Collusion may occur. Collusion may occur when students' assignments are similar, in some cases identical, so that another fellow student. This is almost called plagiarism. Plagiarism is taken very seriously, and students are strongly recommended to refer to the academic misconduct. So do not have similar stuffs, like you need to reference. Okay. The use of tools, particularly known as artificial intelligence, AI, should be avoided by students. The AI detection software and paraphrasing software will be used to check the possible usage and lead disqualification of students and the marks being capped pass only. Okay. AI detection software and paraphrasing software will be used to check the possible usage. Possible usage. So it will be detected through AI, plagiarism, and all that. So you have to refrain from that. You have to refrain from that. Textbooks and recommended websites. These are all sites that you can look into and all that. So let's see. Let's see assignment 1 and 2. Okay. 1 and 2. So 1, you have, we are going to learn a learning outcome. Examine the entire relationship between operation management with other functions. That's the first one we discussed, if you remember. And then LO2 was to explain the importance of operations management in achieving effective organizational performance. Okay. So the first scenario, you are newly appointed as an operations manager at EcoSmart Applications Limited, a medium-sized UK company that designs, manufactures, and distributes eco-friendly household appliances. Such energy efficient washing machines and smart refrigerators. The company is expanding its operation due to increased customer demand and growing pressure to meet sustainability standards. The organization faces challenges such as coordinating operations across departments, managing performance while dealing with rising raw materials, ensuring product quality through continuous improvement, and strengthening supply chain relationships to maintain reliability and exceed customer satisfaction. The senior leadership team has asked you to prepare a set of operational planning and management reports and recommendations to support organizational growth and performance. Okay. So task one. Task one. It says examine the interrelationships between operations and the core and support functions within the EcoSmart Appliances Limited. Kate, can you hear me at all? Okay, let's proceed. So one, you need to examine how operations connect with functions such as marketing, HR, and finance. Two, the impact of operations and processes on these functions. Three, analyze the role operations and process play in influencing and supporting wider organizational functions. Okay. Okay. These are three areas that we have to look into. Three areas: examine, analyze. So the senior leadership team has asked you to prepare a set of operational planning and management reports and recommendations to support organizational growth and performance. Examine the interrelationships between operations and the core support functions within EcoSmart Appliances Limited. Okay, so we spoke about various relationships. Okay, so what are the relation? It says medium you designs manufacturer company. The company is expanding its operations, so it's coordinating operations across departments, including marketing, HR, finance, and supply chain. They are facing finance, HR, managing performance while dealing with rising raw material costs, stricter environmental regulations, and higher customer expectations. Three, ensuring product quality through continuous improvement. Ensuring product quality through continuous improvement. You need to look in Six Sigma. Strengthening supply chain relationships to maintain reliability and see customer relationships. So you have to examine operations connect functions such as marketing, HRM. So in your summation, what do you have to look into? Well, you have to examine how operations connect with functions, marketing, HR, and finance. Is there any communication from the operations department to finance? How do they send information to the finance? Is it by email? Is it by word of mouth? Is any rep within the finance department that the operations department do tend to email them when they need any allocations of raw materials? Okay. The HR department, is there any connection between the operations department and the HR as to the labor force? If the operations department is struggling in terms of the number of people or the workload is more than the number of people, are there any regular connection between them and the HR department in terms of the labor force or the workforce? These are things you have to examine. Same with marketing. Marketing can only be effective when they know the right informations per each product in terms of what constitutes the information in the product, and the various informations that will enable the marketers to start to market the product effectively. So these are things you have to look into. They examine the impact of operations and process on these functions. Okay, so obviously, if operations are having their product delivered, manufactured on time, it helps various departments. It brings customer expectation is met. marketing are able to do their jobs on time, because then the marketing department will have the confidence to tell customers that their delivering time is on spot on. The finance department were able to generate more revenues for the company. So there's a huge impact, okay, that you have to look into, huge impact. They analyze the role of operations and process play in influencing and supporting wider organizational functions. It does, because everything in the organization is anchored around operations, because operations are the core department or the integral department that produces a product or a service. And so the operations and process play a major role. Though the processes you follow will determine whether the company would stand the test of time or not, especially the processes of quality and evaluations. Okay, so quality. What processes does the company use in ensuring that the company is always in the top tier when it comes to quality? Okay, so these are things that you have to look into. And the processes, you can use Six Sigma, and other forms of to determine the processes are intact and also have what it takes to maintain quality processes and evaluation quality assurance. Okay. Then tax 2, explain the importance of operation management in achieving effective organizational performance in your discussion. Explain the importance of operations management in achieving organizational performance in your discussion. So in your discussion with management, you need to sort of look into the importance of organization. Very, very important. All right. So explain the challenges faced by operations management at EcoSmart Appliances Limited and similar organizations when meeting customer requirements. Compare. So explain the challenges faced by operations management at EcoSmart Appliances Limited and similar organizations when meeting customer requirements. Okay. So there are challenges that operations face. That has been highlighted here. So you have to explain the challenges faced by the operation management at EcoSmart Appliances Limited and similar organizations when meeting customer requirements. Okay, so the various challenges need to be explained. Okay, and then compare how different organizations, including EcoSmart, measure performance effectiveness using KPIs and balance score card. Okay. Then the last bit, you have to analyze the importance and effectiveness of operation management in enhancing organizational performance. Okay. So one is Lydia. Explain the challenges faced by operations management at EcoSmart Appliances Limited and similar organizations when meeting customer requirements. Compare how different organizations, including EcoSmart, measure performance effectiveness either using KPIs and balance sheet. And then you have to analyze, okay? You have to analyze the importance and the effectiveness of operation management in enhancing organizational performance. You have to analyze. Okay. Ken, are you there? All right, then. So let's proceed. Let's proceed. Then task 3, LO1, LO2. Drawing together your findings, what you have gathered. Critically analyze how operations, process, and management at EcoSmart Appliances Limited can successfully improve organizational performance and help achieve strategic objectives. Okay, you need to critically analyze how operations, process, management at EcoSmart Appliances Limited can successfully improve organizational performance and help achieve strategic objectives. Where we say strategic objectives are what? They are the strategic goals that a company puts in place to be able to achieve its customer demands, okay? Or to have competitive advantage for the organization. So when you are being asked to critically analyze how the operations, process, and management at EcoSmart appliances can successfully improve, you have to look into the customer deadlines. You have to look into improve, to improve organized performance. You have to look into just-in-time services, stock inventory stocks. So there are quite a number of things you have to look into to be able to analyze the operations, process, and management of EcoSmart. Additional support information, students are encouraged to use case studies, okay, industry reports, academic literature to support the analysis. All tasks should be completed using the Harvard references, okay. The assignment should encourage critical thinking and application of theological frameworks to practical needs. Okay, so you have the HN Global Foundational Resource Support and Reading for the Unit for further guidance. This is it. General Assessment Advice. Let me read that to you. You should consult the grading criteria. Look at the learning outcomes above. You need to demonstrate that you have met these when completing the various tasks. The work must be presented in a standard English, word processed, double line spaced. Show clarity of presentation and be coherently organized. Coherently organized. The work must demonstrate relevance and breadth of reference to appropriate literature. Referencing must be Harvard style of reference. Use the school referencing booklets. Guidance on reference in academic writing for guidance. Word count. Okay. Assignment can be submitted with a word length or 10% of specified word length. For example, if an assignment of 2,000 words is set, then students can submit work with the word total of 1,800 or 2,200. That's a maximum of 10, less 10 or more 10. The word count excludes quotations and reference. It does not include reference list or appendices. Okay. You should ensure that all work that you submit maintains confidentiality and anonymity. Okay, so this is very important. This you discussed already. Okay, we've discussed it upon the marks that you want to get. Okay, we've discussed this already. Okay, can you hear me now? So this we have discussed already. If you want to get a pass mark, what you need to do. If you want to get a distinction, what you need to do. If you want to get a merit, what you need to do as well. All right. You need to renew and make sure that you are complying with, if you want to have all these, whether a married student or the same student, there are things you have to do. And you have LO1 and LO2 all together. Okay, for the assignment one. Do you have any questions at all? Or should I go over again? So to start with, we accept font sizes of 12, okay? And this is a higher diploma in business. You need 15 operational planning and management. The assignment title is the role of operations management in organizational performance. Assignment 1 out of 2, okay? So I've said that you are looking at the font size. Cover style of reference is the reference you have to choose. You have to make sure you don't plagiarize, okay? Because there are AI softwares that we use to determine whether you are doing plagiarism or you are copying from someone. So that we use to check, okay? And then your reference should be intact. Where you need to do bibliography, you need to do that as well by capture it, okay? And we said that there should be line spacing and the word count should be between 1,008 and 2,000. Okay. There are quite a number of reading lists that you can look into, as indicated above. Textbooks and recommended website. Okay. Cole and G.A. Kelly, Red, R.D. Sanders, Slack and all those ones you can look into. www.sip.org. Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply, ASCM.org, ismworld.org, and others. Okay. So I've mentioned that in this first scenario, it's been clearly stated that organization is facing some challenges. One, to coordinate operations across their departments. Two, to manage performance while dealing with rising raw materials costs, stricter environmental regulations, and higher customer expectation. Three, ensuring product quality through continuous improvement. Ensuring product quality through continuous improvement. Four, strengthening supply chain relationships to maintain reliability and exceed customer satisfaction. So these are the areas that you have to look into, okay? And I've said that once you are asked to prepare a set of operational planning and management reports and further recommend to support organizational growth and performance, you have to look into what to start with internally before then you look at externally. So you are managing both the internally and externally. So in your report, it may include even the outsourced kind of businesses. What may be the things that will raise job satisfaction for your staffs? Are your staffs getting the right incentives? Are they having the right training? In terms of support, is there any connectivity between the various departments? Does the HR department know the number of people that works in operations? Does the HR department knows how many people are absent or on leave? So there are various areas that it needs to look into. It needs to look into. Okay. Then if you look at the impact of operations, you measure that and check and see. You can use the Pareto 20-80 to 20 rule, or maybe the impact. Are there any root causes? Are there root causes that is affecting? So all these are all things that you need to look into. What may be the possible causes of performances? Are you on a decline or are you on an increase? If there's a decline, then you need to look into it. If there's an increase in it, then you know you are advancing in performance. Okay, so the very thing that you think is helping, you look in and maximize it, you identify the problems and you define it. So this is how you check performances. Appraisals from your own staffs would help in checking performances. Regular engagement as well. These are all things that helps in checking performances. Okay. Then we look into analyze the role operations process play in influencing and supporting wider organizational functions. Analyze. Analyze. So analyze the role operations process play in. So you analyze and you look at what role do they play. You can look into the Six Sigma. You can look into the lane operations. These are all things that you have to look into. Okay, when you analyze it. Okay. So you analyze the operations and process play in influencing and supporting wider organizational functions. Okay. The role operations and processes play in influencing the supporting wider operational functions. The role operations and processes play in influencing and supporting wider organizational functions. Okay. So what do? You look into operations and look at the processes. What processes do they use? It may be Six Sigma, it may be quality evaluation, it may be quality assurance. All right, so these are all things that you need to look into and determine the performances. Okay. All right. Are there any delays and errors? How do you detect the delays and errors? You know, Fishbone, Ishikawa, feed bones, Pareto 80-20 rule. There are various things that you can use to determine. Various stuff that you can use to determine. In so doing, you can okay. Then let's look into the task 2, the challenges faced by operations management at EcoSoft Limited and similar organizations when meeting customer requirements. You have to explain what may be the challenges. It may be delivering of products on time. It may be there's no intercontinental intercorrelation between departments. It may be that the raw materials are always defects from the supplier. So there are various challenges that you have to look into. Then compare how different organizations, including EcoSmart, measure performance, effectiveness using KPIs, key performance indicators, or balance scoreboard. Analyze the importance and effectiveness of operation management in enhancing organizational performance. Okay, you have to enhance the importance of effectiveness of operations management. in enhancing organizational performance. When operation is properly managed and effective, the general performance of the organization also works very well. Once there are no defects, there are no delays in operations, and everything is working very well, it fits into all the other departments. Okay. So operation management should be very key. Once the operation, which is the core part of the business, once you are okay, it naturally fits into the other department, an entire organization. Okay. These are things that we need to look into. Keth, do you have any questions at all? Any questions at all? Any questions at all? All right. So let's proceed then. If there are no questions. Mm. When it comes to processes, you need to really look into the continuous processes that you use. Okay. Now, task 3 says drawing together your findings. I'm going over again. Critically analyze how operations, process, and management at EcoSmart appliances can successfully improve organizational performance and help achieve strategic objective. Now, it says in addition, students are encouraged to use case studies, and all tasks should be completed using the Harvard references. Okay. Are we together? Are we together? Now, the assignment should encourage critical thinking and application of theoretical frameworks to practical scenarios. Students are encouraged to use case studies, industry reports, and academic literature to support the analysis. All tasks should be completed using the Harvard reference system. Okay. Drawing together your findings. When you have gotten all your findings for LO1 and LO2, findings in terms of the examination and the analysis, and he said then you critically have to analyze how operations, process, and management at EcoSmart appliances can successfully improve organizational performance and help achieve strategic objectives. Okay. Very, very important. So this we are done for this particular one. Let's look into the second one. Okay. Look into the second one. Um, so two. So this is LO2. Okay. So the same, this assignment two. Okay, Kate, this assignment two. So in this assignment, okay, can you hear me? So we have assignment brief Unit 50 operational planning and management. Okay. An assignment title is quality and supply chain management for customer satisfaction. So on this assignment, we are looking at more customer satisfaction. Are the needs of the customer being met? Those are the things we are looking at. Okay. All right. So let's crack on. The same word format. It should be style, single spacing, font size number 12, Harvard referencing, no plagiarism. Don't use AI for your assignment because it will be detected. Okay. Same reasons. But in 3 and 4, the scenario is that you are newly appointed as the operations manager at EcoSmart Appliances Limited, a medium-sized UK company that designs, manufactures, distributes eco-friendly household appliances such as energy-efficient washing machines and smart refrigerators. The company is expanding its operations due to increased customer demand and growing pressure to meet sustainability standards. The organization faces challenges such as coordinating operations across departments, including marketing, HR. These are the challenges. Managing performance while dealing with rising raw materials and all that. Okay. As a senior leadership team, you are asked to prepare a set of operational planning. We've done that. Task 1, LO3. Okay. EcoSmart Appliance is implementing a new quality management initiative. Once you hear quality management, then you should look at things like Six Sigma, lean operations. Okay. These are things that you need to come to your mind to improve customer satisfaction and operational efficiency. 1, apply different quality management approaches such as TQM, Six Sigma, ISO 9001 to address operational problems faced by EcoSmart, e.g. product defects, waste reduction. So Six Sigma and lean operations, okay, are the things to use to apply. Compare the benefits and implementation of these approaches in solving operational challenges and optimizing performance. So you have Six Sigma, which tries to correct defects and errors. Then you have lean operations that looks into eliminating or reduction of wastes, thereby improving continuous quality assurances. Okay, then you have the ISO 9001, which looks into more ethical and sustainability for the organization. Okay, and then having gotten these things written and explained, then you look into comparing. Okay, comparing the benefits and the limitation of these approaches. What are the benefits? Having identified these what are the benefits? And then are there any limitations or drawbacks that you have to look into? Okay, that's exactly what he's talking about. Then you go to task 2. In task 2, based on your evaluation, you justify which quality measurement approaches will be most effective in enabling EcoSmart to meet the business objectives. Okay, based on evaluation, justify which quality management approaches will be most effective in enabling EcoSmart to meet business objectives and optimal organized performance. I think Six Sigma. So you look into all the three that you've seen, having compare among the three, the benefits of those or the advantages and the limitations in terms of the cons. What may be their limitations in their usage and operation? Having said that, then you choose among the three, which among the three you think or justifies the best strategy or approach to use. Okay? All right. And then there must be a reason why you are justifying it amongst the three. Then tax three. EcoSmart Appliances Limited relies on both local and global suppliers. Review and evaluate its supply chain management practices. Okay, review the role of supply chain management in supporting smart and other organizations to supply products and services to meet customer demands. 2, evaluate how EcoSmart comparable organizations manage supply chain to ensure customer satisfaction. So once you hear local and global suppliers, in your review, you have to identify which are the internal activities start with supply chain internal and then supply chain external. Are there been any outsourced parts of the business that you need to identify and work on? Okay. So the role of supply chain management in supporting EcoSmart and other organizations to supply products and services to meet customer demands. What is the role of supply chain? So supply chain plays obviously a major role from the period of the raw materials purchase to the final consumption. So you look at the entire supply chain. What may be inventory stock, logistics, shipment, management of internal staff, packaging, all of that falls under supply chain. Okay. So you have to review, look at the role of supply chain, both internal core activities and external core activities. Very, very important. Evaluate how EcoSmart and compare organizations manage supply chain relationship to ensure. Yes, in supply chain relationship, you build alliance. So they manage their suppliers externally, making sure that they have a good alliance with their suppliers. So they are regular supplies to them and ensuring that you have good relationship with your customers as well, to ensure that customers have recourse to complain immediately, whether through email or call or whatever, so that they're also happy when there are any issues and defects. Customers don't struggle to pass on those information. While there are instruments and defects, customers would have to communicate that ASP to the channel of communication or whoever they have to communicate to. That wasn't the case in many organizations. So if that's what you want to look into, how to compare organization-based supply chain to ensure customer satisfaction, you compare, okay? You compare the various processes and various approach available. You compare them and see if you can get a better, more offer. Okay. Then, having said that, you have to also look into critically evaluate, okay, effective supply chain management strategies, making recommendations for how EcoSmart can enhance and exceed customer satisfaction through stronger relationships and partner collaboration. That is a fact. We did mention in our previous lectures that oftentimes for companies to have huge competitive advantage over their competitors in a local or a region or even globally, they have to look into one, cultural differences, to the pricing, 3, strong legal backgrounds, very, very important. So once they're able to look into their pricing and then look into culture, where are they based? cultural. And then look at the legal part of the business. Legal part of the business. The legal part of the business. What we call the ethical and sustainability. Have you made sure that you have the right paperwork governing the organization in terms of international conventions, certification, and all that? These are all things that you need to look into as the question that has been asked. Okay. Okay, Keith. Keith, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? The word limits. The word limit is 1,800 to 2,000. Okay. 1,800 to 2,000 word limits. That's the word limit. Lydia. Lydia. That's the word limit. Okay. 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 So, is there any more questions? Do you have any more questions, please? And when we say word limit, it doesn't include your references. It doesn't include your quotations or your appendices. It's just the word, okay? The typing of the words itself is what we are counting. So if you click your computer, your cursor on your number of it will show you how many words you have. Okay. It will show how many words you have. Any more question? Do you have any question? Any more question? Any more questions? Okay, so since there's no question, we bring the meeting to an end, okay? We have discussed we've had two form of discussions. What is key is that you don't do plagiarism. You don't use AI for your assignments. The font size should be 12. There should be line spacing. Your word count should be 1,800 to 2,200 maximum. Your reference should be around Harvard reference. That's the kind of reference you have to use. Okay. Stick to the grading pattern. If you want to be a past student, stick to the grading system which you have. If you want to be distinction or merit, stick to it. How do you become distinction? You have to critically analyze. Once you critically analyze what you are putting in there, you are getting to a stage of distinction. Okay. Some of the assignments is borders around quality assurances. Some are bordered are around the core functions, which you have read. You have the slides. Some are in relation to customer satisfactions. So different assignments. And once you stick to the slides, you should be able to ask. But you have to be more practical because you are being appointed as a manager to do a report. So you are submitting a report, and the report should be very detailed. In all reports, you have to give recommendations. Okay, recommendations in every report. All right. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Hold on. Let me take a picture of lectures today. Kids. And we are done for today. Just hold on. Mm. So just hold on. Assignment is due on 14th of this month. It's on the group. It's on the group. Okay. It's on the group. Okay. All right. See you then. All right. Okay. So